This is an Andy's Randomness special report. Reporting now, Andy Pollack.
This is a special report from Andy's Randomness. Good evening, I am Andy Pollack. We are coming on with major breaking news from the Food and Drug Administration here in the United States. They have approved the Pfizer coronavirus vaccine. This is a big development in order to curtail the spread of the deadly virus. Sadly, at this particular moment, Johns Hopkins tracking data is confirming that almost 300,000 Americans have died during this pandemic. The important factor to take a look into this important news this evening is that we are getting closer and closer to a possibility that 2021 will look like a little bit of a normal year, all hoping on if this vaccine plan goes through the way the FDA and the CDC have already discussed. So we will read this article from the Associated Press, and I will zoom in. That way, if you're on a smartphone or a tablet, it'll be much easier for you to read. There we go. So we can officially read this. A U.S. government advisory panel endorsed widespread use of Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine today, putting the country just one step away from launching an epic vaccine campaign against the outbreak that has killed close to 300,000 Americans. Shots of the Pfizer coronavirus vaccine could begin within days, depending on how quickly the FDA signs off, as expected on the expert committee's recommendation. In a 17-4 vote with one abstention, the government advisors concluded that the vaccine from Pfizer and its German partner BioNTech appears safe and effective for emergency use in adults and teenagers 16 and older. Now, this is an important factor to bring in because children, they have been testing this particular vaccine on children, but there wasn't enough clear data to present that. I will quickly go on the record, and I will admit that last week I did write a letter to the FDA asking about side effects. So far, I haven't gotten any responses back. If Randomness LP does have a big update in the side effects, we will keep you posted at a different later date. Let's continue reading this. So, Britain last week became the first country to begin dispensing the Pfizer-BioNTech shot. So, I'm not really going to go into other quotes, but keep in mind that we are now officially a year later. All right, a whole year later. Keep in mind, the reason why they call this COVID-19 is because this virus was discovered in China this time last year in 2019. So, let's continue reading on. Anything more important here. The decision came as COVID-19 cases surged to ever higher levels across the United States, with deaths hitting an all-time one-day high of more than 3,100 on Wednesday, December 9th. Pfizer said it will have about 25 million doses of the two-shot vaccine for the U.S. by the end of this month, which is the end of the economic fourth quarter. But the initial supplies will be reversed primarily for healthcare workers and nursing home residents, with other vulnerable groups next in line until ramped-up production enables shots to become widely available on demand. This will probably not happen until estimation the second economic quarter of 2021, so that could most likely be the earliest April. The FDA next week will review a second vaccine, this time from Moderna, a company based in Maryland, and the National Institute of Health appears about as protective as a Pfizer BioNTech shot. A third candidate from Johnson & Johnson, which would require just one dose, is working its way through the pipeline. We have two other candidates. We have AstraZeneca and Oxford. So, my bad. Yes, so AstraZeneca and Oxford are the same thing. I do apologize. So, the other two companies will be AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson. This could probably happen sometime in 2021 where the other candidates are reviewed by the FDA, of course. So, other important note, U.S. health experts are hoping for a combination of vaccines will ultimately enable the United States to conquer the outbreak. Experts estimate at least 70% of the U.S. population will have to be vaccinated to achieve herd immunity, the point at which the virus can be held in check. This means it could be several months before things start getting back to normal and Americans can finally put away their mask. So, other thing we need to note, that all eyes now turn to the FDA staff scientists who will make the final decision on whether to press ahead with widespread use of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. FDA's vaccine director, Peter Marks, said ahead of the expert meeting the decision would come within days to a week. So, there's a possibility that the earliest Americans could get the vaccine could most likely be sometime this weekend. The best case scenario you could look at is sometime next week or the week of Christmas, which would be December 21st on Monday. So that would be another optimistic thing to look at if you're going to make a good date on when nursing home residents and frontline workers could get the vaccine. So, I'm not going to read anything else. Yes, okay, here we go. It says 90% effective in blocking the symptoms of COVID-19. The FDA advisor stressed it's not clear yet whether it could stop the silent symptom spread that accounts for up to half of all cases. So, what else we can find? Yes, so Pfizer still needs to show if this vaccine works in children younger than 16 and women who are pregnant. So, that still needs to be discussed. Alright, here we go. Yes, so they want to have priority based on age, health conditions, and other factors. Alright, so, once again, to recap, the big news that a FDA panel has endorsed widespread use of the Pfizer coronavirus vaccine for emergency use approval. Once again, the FDA full panel will vote within a matter of days to a week to approve this important vaccine. Once again, a big step to ending this nightmare, as I like to call it. So, we're getting close, and it sounds like the end is near, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully approaching. So with that, we wrap up our coverage. This has been a special report from Andy's Randomness.